Welcome everyone back to Beat the Game. It's time for part 4 of the Quicksilver character spotlight. And right now we're going to be a spotlight on the leadership aspect and how we can make Pietro even better by enhancing him with the leadership aspect. Now, this is going to be a little bit weird because there's so many avenues that we can take a character with leadership. All right. So the thing is, there's so many ways to explain it. So if you haven't seen the video on leadership and understanding the strategies, I highly recommend checking that out because there's like 4 or 5 main strategies that you can use, like ally dumpster or like ally where they just come into the battlefield and then you just kind of want to recycle them with the make the calls. There's super powered allies where you just want to buff up your allies and have them do massive damage or massive thwarting and just stay on the field. You have the teamwork build where you just want to build up your allies and then use your allies to team up with your character. And I know it would sound good with Quicksilver, but it is one way that we can explore that. And then there's like the buff my hero, which is kind of like teamwork. And then there's just so many ways, like ally resources, where you use your allies not to block or chump block, but you use them as resource cards. So there's a lot of strategies here. I'm going to try to do it so Quicksilver shines, not just the leadership aspect shines. So we're going to do it a little bit differently for leadership, because again, leadership is such a powerful aspect when you play it right and when you when you really take advantage of it. So let's take a look-see on how we can make Pietro excellent in leadership. So first of all, let's look at the leadership events that are going to really make him shine. I think the first one we can look at right now is Moxie. So Moxie is definitely going to be a flip-flop strategy if you want to be running that Moxie. Is after you change form, your hero gets +1 thwart, +1 attack, and +1 defense. So again, if you're going to be running the Moxie in your deck, that means you want to go from Pietro to Quicksilver often to be able to take advantage of this card. If not, don't bother putting him in. If you want to be or the type of player that wants to stay in hero form a lot and not really flip down, then I don't think Moxie is going to be the right fit for you. But if you are willing to go down a couple times, once you have that Serval Industries and you have that other card that makes him great, you can go down and then flip up, find the Moxie, because his natural ability to discard 2 cards, to draw 2 cards, and if you have Wanda in play, you actually get to draw 3 cards. That's super good because you can cycle and try to find your Moxies before you flip up. And then when you flip up, if you have 2 Moxies in hand, you can play both Moxies back to back. And then for 2 cards, you just made him a 3/3. So I think Moxie is going to be a great card for him, for Quicksilver, to really make him shine. All right, let's look at another card that's going to make him boost his stats. Again, Morale Boost. Super simple card for 1. It's great when you have your friction resistance. Basically, it costs you nothing. You just play that. You get +1/+1. There's no condition on this. So that's +1/+1 until the end of the round. That means you still get this when you are in the villain phase. So all these bonuses stay when you are in villain turn as well. So that increases your defense. So plus your natural defense. So if you're lucky, you get a good turn and you have a lot of these played out, you can have your Quicksilver be like a 4/4/4 or a 5/5/5 until the end of the round, which is just phenomenal. Yeah, when your character is a 5/5, he is busting chops. Now, let me tell you that. All right, so morale boost for me and Moxie, definitely the 2 strongest event cards that you want to include. I would definitely recommend playing at least 2 Moxies in your deck, if not 3, but definitely 3 morale boosts. All right, so to really take advantage of these pump actions. All right, so now let's look at a couple of events that are going to help fuel this by different strategies. So there's the other two events, because out of all the events, there's only 4 that I would recommend. Now, teamwork, this is if you want to be flashy and you want to use teamwork, you're going to pair that up with a bunch of allies that have like these high stats, like Wonder Man, who's like a 1/3, to really pump up your attack when you make a basic attack. And since he does 2 basic attacks per turn or 2 basic thwarts per turn, you can really use this teamwork card. Again, it's a 0 cost event card. It's great. It just plays and pays for itself. That for me is very, very good. And once you start building up those allies and leadership, you use them to pump you up. All right, so that for me is a good card. I don't recommend running more than 2 in your deck, just because you don't want to overcrowd your deck with events. You want to have as many permanents on the table to be able to get those always be runnings and stuff like that to really help you grow. Next one, the other one, and then we'll talk about the ones that don't make my cut for the Quicksilver build. All right, so strength in numbers, I definitely recommend running at least 2 of this in your deck, if not 3. Again, once you start popping those allies out, those allies stay on the table. You use them in case of emergency only, because you want to use those allies as resources. Again, check out that video on ally resources in the leadership, understanding the strategies, and you'll get what I mean. So basically, strength in numbers means you're just using those allies to draw maximum amounts of cards. So for me, it's a definite playable 2, if not 3 of in a Quicksilver deck. So again, the top ones you want to run a 3 of morale boost, 2 or 3 of Moxies. So that's 5 cards already. Strength in numbers is a 2 of maximum, and then strength in numbers 2 or 3 of. So you're already looking at 9 cards that are events, plus your base, that's 7 cards that are events. So that's already 15 cards in your deck that are event based. Now, let's look at the cards that don't make it on the list and the reason why I don't put them on the list. Again, I Make the Call is a great card. The thing is, depending on the strategy you want to use Pietro's natural abilities and his event cards more than you want to just bring in an ally. Because bringing an ally is easy, you know, like any other character can do that. But if you want to make it really thematic to Quicksilver, I don't think making the call for Nick Fury over and over is really making Quicksilver more fun to play in leadership. All right, I think it's just going to make him just like any other hero in leadership. Just, okay, I just do my stuff and then just get my allies. So for me, that's why I opted out on Make the Call. Same thing for United We Stand. I don't really want to use my allies to do stuff. I want to focus on my hero, because this is a hero-focused character. So you really want to use your character to its maximum. So again, United We Stand just heals allies. It's not a card I want to do. Make the Call, same thing. Call for Aid. Finding an Avenger ally. It's not a bad card, especially if I'm running, let's say, only 6 Avengers in my deck. So let's say I have Wanda, who's an Avenger, and I just put 5 other Avengers. Then I probably want to run a Call for Aid just to be able to dig for at least 1 ally to be able to help me start pulling off my teamwork combos and stuff like that. But again, you're going to run through your deck quick, run through your deck. I love these puns, man. You're going to run through your deck quick enough that you don't really need to just search for those. So for me, the Call for Aid is not a card I want to use. Same for Get Ready. I think Get Ready is another great card, but depends on the deck build that you want to do. If you want to just use and abuse your allies, then Get Ready is a good card for that, but not in the deck we're looking for. Same thing for Ready in Action and Inspiring Presence. Again, these 2 cards are like really, really good. They're event based. But again, there's very specific builds for those, which is not something I'm looking to do. Again, if you want to see what these guys are, they work well in, look at that leadership video and you'll find out. But for me, for Quicksilver, it's again more events, more cards that are, it's going to keep my deck full, and I don't want to do that. I really want to keep it down. All for one and lead from the front. Lead from the front. Normally, I'm like, ooh, it's another. It's another. What's it called there? Morale boost, but it's for 2, and it's it's every character I own. I'm like, yeah, but it costs 2 for the +1. So is it a card I would consider if you want to add it to have that extra boost effect? But this one is just until at the end of the phase. So it's only +1 attack and +1 thwart until the end of the phase. So you don't actually get the bonus on the defense. So for me, that's why it doesn't make the cut. All right, and then obviously the biggest one, the big Avengers Assemble, is once per round. But the fact that it costs 4, yes, it does ready me, but for the cost of 4, I want to play something else. All right, so that's it for the events that don't make the cut. Now, funny enough, let's look at the support cards that I really want to play with Quicksilver. Now, I have an idea in my head about a deck I want to build, and the deck I want to build doesn't really use the double resources. So this is going to allow me to use a card that I don't normally use. And this is going to be fun because Quinjet is a card that I don't use. But because it is a permanent, because I am not running any double resources in my deck. I am trying to keep my deck as low cost as possible. Quinjet actually makes sense in this deck for me because I can put them down on turn 1. I don't care if I have any allies yet. I'll have them maybe in a couple turns, and then I can start paying for allies for free. This is in the build that I'm imagining is I'm going to actually put 2 Quinjets in my deck, maybe even 3, just to be able to have those allies come in for free. So okay, I use 1, or I put it in my deck, shuffle back my deck, and then obviously it's going to be a slow burn, but I think it's going to be cool to have some allies come in for free every couple of turns while I kind of just set myself up slowly for a jumbo turn of just complete annihilation. Once I have all my permanents on the table, I can just go and wreck face. If you want a little idea on what a deck like that would look like, go look at Joshua. Joshua Monks had he just posted on CBD. It looks like a very cool deck. It's one-shot KO, Quicksilver, one-shot kill. I looked at the deck. It looks pretty solid. It puts a lot of the strategies that I put into the decks when I try to do my combo decks with the tenacities and stuff like that. So definitely check it out. Give it a whirl. Give it a run. All right, and then you'll see how that works out for you and how it works out for him. I think it looks like a pretty solid deck, and I think you can probably do the same thing with aggression because of the one-shot KO there with all the aggression upgrades. So I think it makes a lot of sense. So, but again, for me, Quinjet is, again, super cheap. It's a cheap card. It's a cheap one-cost card that is going to give me something big reward in the future. And I'm all about investments into my characters and taking the time to actually build them. So this, for me, makes actually sense for the very first time in Marvel Champions. I won't lie. I have not played this card or had any inkling of playing this card until now. So that's what I love about the game. Sometimes you get a new character and then you're just thinking about a new way to build a deck, and then sometimes these cards that are like, I start making like, whoa, this is awesome. So again, every card is gonna get its turn. Every card's gonna get its time to shine. And I think Quinjet with Quicksilver here is gonna be one of those sleeper cards that are just gonna be super good. All right, enough about Quinjet. Obviously Triskelion, because we're going to want to build slowly an army of allies to help us with our strength in numbers, to draw more cards and everything, and just kind of slowly build up our engine to like having this awesome blowout turn. All right, so Triskelion, definitely. Now the one that didn't make the cut is the team training. Again, I don't want to just use my allies to attack and thwart. I want to do this all myself because I am Pietro, I am Quicksilver, so I really want to embody the character. So team training, like I said, I want my allies as resources to help pay for stuff, to help me get ready. but I don't want to use them to do anything else, really. All right, so team training. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. All right, let's look at some upgrades. Now, depending on what strategy you want to use, if you are going to be playing the Teamworks, I do recommend the one I would play by myself in my deck is I would put Sky Cycle only, 3 copies in a deck, just to be able to ready my allies and then use either. I don't really want to talk about the why, but it's all because of this card. But this card is like it's a basic card. Again, I want to talk about those cards later, but this is why the synergy works. It's Earth's Mightiest Heroes, so you can use your allies with the strength in numbers, and then exhaust the Sky Cycle, ready your ally, exhaust your ally, ready Quicksilver, ready Rapid Thing. So it's just like a rapid fire of like triggers and awesomeness that you can do. Okay, I have another activation with my guys that gave me a resource for free, and then I can do this, so that's why I like these combos. You know, you can use your allies for resources to fuel more momentum for your character, and that's why I think this is going to be an awesome card, Sky Cycle. So again, you want to put those on your allies, only on an Avenger ally, obviously, and then he gains aerial and he gets to ready. So for me, it's really good. Now, these are just, you know what, if you want to do the Iron Man thing and put everything on him for free, then go. Me personally, I wouldn't run more than 1 of these each, because again, I don't really want to use my allies for that. But if you want to build a super Iron Man suit right now, which is the 4 attachments on him, please go ahead, because you know it's still pretty awesome having Iron Man by your side. You know, who's like a 3/3 that pings 1 damage when he does stuff. For me, it's cool. But I think for this, the way I really want to build him is I just kind of want to focus on my character doing everything. But yeah, this is not bad. All right, and then the other one that's also going to be played is I just want to run one of in the deck, Rapid Response, just because there's going to be a few allies that we're going to talk about that are really going to have an impact on the game that's going to help me out without having to exhaust, attack, or thwart. So for me, Rapid Response is just basically to whenever that guy's out of ammo, or when I'm in trouble for threat or something like that, I do have a way to have him die and come back into the battlefield. So that is why Rapid Response is in the deck. And there's no other upgrades that are getting like the boot. So after that, let's just look at the allies that you should consider running for Quicksilver. All right. So Ant-Man, obviously, the reason why you want to run Ant-Man, you can pay 1 for him. You pay 1, he's a 2/2, and then you have him just as a resource card with the strength in numbers, and he's just basically 1 to draw you a card whenever you get that strength in numbers. Same thing for Stinger. She cost 1. You can only play her when you're as Pietro, but still, it's another card for 1. It's a cheap ally that doesn't count towards your ally limit, so you can have 6 allies right now, maximum. So you can just go whoop and be safe and be all like, yeah, what's up, and just be like really, really in a good position. Maria Hill, normally I don't like Maria Hill in solo. In multiplayer, she's awesome, but in solo, I'm always iffy about her. But she is 2 for 2 thwart. So until I can kind of build up my Avengers engine, she's very good, because you can just kind of use her to thwart, and then just take a hit and then just cycle her back into your deck, and then until the next deck pass comes around, and then see if you can play her or not. So for me, Maria Hill is definitely a card that you want to look into when building this deck. Same thing for Squirrel Girl. 2 cost allies is what we're looking at here. The more 2 cost allies, because again, in the deck I'm envisioning, I'm not running Powers of Leadership. I'm not running the double resources. So the cheap allies that have a cool little enter the battlefield effect is stuff that we really want to look into for this. So Squirrel Girl definitely makes the cut. Wonder Man only makes the cut if I'm running the teamwork card. if I'm not going to be running teamwork, don't bother running Wonder Man unless you're playing Hulk. But we're talking about Quicksilver here, so unless you're running teamwork to get that extra 3 attack once in a while, it's not really worth running Wonder Man. But again, I could be wrong because again, he's got, he's only costing 2, so he's not bad. If I had a choice between Wonder Man and Hawkeye, I think I'd take Wonder Man just because if I do run the teamwork. But if I'm not running teamwork or double resources, maybe Hawkeye Kate Bishop is just a better choice. Well, actually, maybe she's not. She's only got 2 health. Wonder Man can actually help block for me sometimes with a 3 health. He can block, let's say, a 1/1, like one of those little minion attacks and still survive. So, but this is like, again, if you want to build, you can put like 10 Avengers and just kind of cycle through them with your, what's that card again there? The Quinjet. And just kind of make them grow, and then play the little cheap ones, and then leave that Quinjet for like the 3 or 4 cost or even 5 cost allies that are going to make sense. Again, Hawkeye is definitely one you want to run just because of his 4 arrows. That's 8 damage on minions that are coming into play. With Quicksilver, that's very good minion control. Because then you don't have to waste your time, with the minions. You can just kind of pew pew if you don't have his like reinforced sinew to do an extra damage. So this is like 3 damage. Normally takes care of 90% of the minions in the game right now. So Hawkeye definitely a must include into the leadership build. Again, you use him as a resource. He doesn't need to thwart or attack. And if you don't have it, well, then he can help with thwart. Even if they do get 2 damage on them, you don't really care. And you can always use them to help you out in the situation. Ronin, again, if you are a big fan of putting the upgrades on allies, then Ronin is the guy to put this stuff on. With an Inspired, he becomes a 3/4. So good. With the Sky Cycle and everything, so he can do like 5 damage a turn. 4 plus the Power Gauntlet one. That's 5 damage. So Ronin is a good ally, but again, I don't want to use my allies to do the damage. I really want to focus on Quicksilver. So Ronin is only if you really want to run Ronin, and that's just personal choice. I think if I had a choice between Black Knight and Ronin, I'd rather run Black Knight just because of the piercing. Just because his attacks gain piercing, for me, it's just better. It's just easier. It just makes more sense for Black Knight here, because then if I'm stuck with a guard, I don't have to waste my big attack on a guard with toughness. So Black Knight for me takes the cake between that, and then like there's characters like Goliath, who you can thwart, and the fact that he has 4 health is you can actually thwart a couple times before, and then you activate. Again, Goliath is a character I would probably only run if I was running the teamwork, because then you can go thwart. And this is only if you need it. And then, big attack, teamwork, bam! So then your Quicksilver can attack for like 6 in a turn. So there's ways, and if you have a Sky Cycle, you can ready him up, and then he punches for 5. So that's like 11 damage for like a little 2-card combo. It's pretty good. It's pretty solid, but again, I don't think Goliath is one I would normally run in my deck for Quicksilver. I love Falcon. I'd rather run Falcon just because he comes in, ETBs, look at the top 3 card. Information, guys, information on the villain deck is crucial to winning scenarios. It's really, really good because then you can know, oh shoot, he's getting an advance. I am not going to go flip down. Oh, okay, you know what? So you can calculate how you're going to respond to what you see, and then really make your decisions more better, Steve. Really? More better? I think you can really make better decisions when you know what's coming. So there you go. Enlightenment. All right. So Falcon for me is a definite include, even though he costs 4. He definitely hits the mark for me. And then Iron Man, for me, it's only if you guys really want to run the free upgrade trip. But for me, Iron Man, it's just, he's pretty vanilla. Unless I want to run the full equipment garb on him. which is not normally something I want to do in this deck build. But, and then the last one is, whoop, dropped them on the floor. Sorry about that. Giant Man. So Giant Man, he costs 5, so he's pretty expensive. But again, with the 4 health, you know, you can always use him to do some more stuff. And then he can soak up a few hits. Kind of like, he's almost Hulk size or Hulk strong with his hit points. So yeah, so again, these allies, it's basically which allies do you like. It's not basically it's more preference than anything. But if I'm going to only put 5 allies in my deck, it's going to be Falcon, it's going to be Black Knight, it's going to be Hawkeye, it's going to be Ant-Man and Stinger and Squirrel Girl. These are the guys I would be running if I was only running by myself. If I'm only running the 6 allies, 2, 4, 5 plus, yeah, so that's 6 allies with Scarlet Witch. This would be my go-to team. Again, not because they're super strong or anything. It's because of the ETB effect that I can, you know, always trigger this guy and this guy. These are the guys that you want to trigger off the rapid response Falcon and Hawkeye, and everyone else is just gravy. So, and maybe, you know, if I'm going to be running one extra one just for the giggles, it'd be Maria Hill. Just because she has a thwart of 2 for 2 costs. That's it. So that is my choice if I'm going to be running the allies. Then there's a couple of allies that didn't make the cut. Yeah, I was about to forget about them. The 2 allies that don't actually make the cut for me is US Agent and Vision, just because, again, 3 for a 1/1 with 5. I love it normally. And like Vision, same thing. He's a 1/2, but I have to spend a lightning resource. And my lightning resource in my Quicksilver deck are my always be runnings. So I am definitely not spending an always be running just to highlight Vision. So that is why those guys kind of get the shaft for me. So that is my breakdown, guys, of Quicksilver Leadership. So I'm going to show you guys the deck I built to make this guy awesome and how we can really run him. And give me 2 seconds, I'll just pull that up for you guys. Alright guys, so here is the Quicksilver Leadership deck that I want to build, and I think it's going to be pretty darn awesome. So we're starting off with 2 Moxies. 2 Moxies again, to when we do flip, we do get those bonuses of +1/+1. And then we're adding 3 morale boosts on top of that. So that is going to give us, again, more +1/+1 effects. After that, we're going to be looking at 2 strengthened numbers. So 2 strengthened numbers to really focus. I didn't want to run 3. I was looking at my cards. I'm like, I think 2 is going to be just the right once we have everything set up to really cycle through our deck fast. And then we're going to be running 3 Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Now the reason running 3 of those is, again, once we have those sky cycles set up on our Avenger allies, we're just going to be running all the time and just generating tons of value with Quicksilver. And that is the whole point of this deck. So we are running a few more events than we would like to normally, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 plus the 7. So that is 17 events in our deck. All right, as you notice, I am not playing any double resources. That's why some of our support cards are going to be so important. And then let's look at the support cards we're using. We're using the Triskelion to add a maximum number of allies. We're running 2 Quinjets. That's only, again, to pay, to just help pay for our big allies that we're going to be running. And then we're running a just one team building exercise, again, so we don't really have to spend resources on our allies as they come in. Avengers Tower, again, to increase and reduce the costs. Quinn Carrier. So again, so this is basically a 3-cost ally for free. And plus our friction resistance, we get our 4th. So we can actually pay, once these are on the table, without paying any cards, we can just throw an ally on the table for free. So these are the support cards we're running. Triskelion, Quinjets, Quinn Carrier, Avengers Tower, and Team Building Exercise. So that is 2, 4, 6 cards. So now we're at 16. And let's look at the upgrades that we are running. We are running 1, 2, and 3 Sky Cycles, like we said, and 1 Rapid Response. So now we're up to 20 cards. Again, you know why we're running the Rapid Response. The Sky Cycles is, again, for the Earth's Mightiest Heroes. So we do have a lot of cool action that we can do with those. And then the allies that we are running in our kit, I think you guys know which ones they are. Ant-Man, Stinger, Maria Hill, Squirrel Girl, Hawkeye, Clint Barton, Falcon, Falcon's the most expensive one, Black Knight, and Falcon. So what's going to happen here is once we have all of our allies, that we have all our teams set up, what we'll be able to do is once these guys cycle through the deck, we'll be able to just play them with our Quint Carrier, with our Helicarrier, Team Building Exercise. So most of these allies are going to be coming in for free, and we don't have to spend resources, because what do we want to use our resources for? To always be running. And then using our our double time and our maximum velocities, we want to use our stuff exactly for that. So again, so that's 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 27. If you're a purist, again, I keep saying that, if you are a purist and you want no more than 40 cards in your deck, it's super easy. You can just cut 1 Sky Cycle out, and you can cut 1 Earth's Mightiest Heroes out, and then you have your 40 card deck. It's not something I would recommend, but you know what? It's all good if you want to do that. Would I cut? No, I'd keep the Earth's Mightiest Hero. I'm just thinking about what I would actually cut, and I'm looking at the deck here. Sky Cycle is fine. Cutting one of those, but I think maybe if I was gonna cut anything, maybe 1 Quinjet. Just that. I think that is, yeah, maybe Quinjet or 1 Moxie. But again, that goes against the purpose. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe just cut 2 Sky Cycles. There you go, and just have 1 Sky Cycle in the deck. All right, so that is it. That's my final decision on my Quicksilver deck build, if you want to go at a 40 card. But again, 42 cards is not the end of the world, especially once you dump all those permanents on the table. So guys, I hope you like this video. I hope this was educational on how to use Quicksilver and to really make him work for you in the leadership aspect. Again, there's tons of ways to build in leadership. I think this one is more focused on how to really focus on Quicksilver, which is, very thematic to this character. He's very conceited. If you ever watched the cartoons, or if you read the comic books, this guy's full of himself. But yeah, that is Quicksilver in a nutshell. So if you guys like that, again, I hope this strategy helped you to beat the game. All right, I'll see you next time for the next and final one. Quicksilver in basics. How would it work? All right, so stay tuned. Coming up soon.